Welcome back to another episode of Jessacouplethingspod, y'all. Listen, we have a very, very special guest for y'all this episode. But before we get into all that, make sure that you all subscribe to Just a Couple Things podcast on every platform that streams podcasts. So if you are on Apple Podcasts, follow. If you are on Spotify Podcasts, follow. If you are watching the visualis on YouTube, are you following me on YouTube? Make sure you should hit subscribe on YouTube as well. That way you can go ahead and get the notifications for every time a podcast comes out. All right. So without further ado, we have the very, very special Sherelle Rosado, the creator of W.A.G.s to Riches, joining us for this episode of Just a Couple Things. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so usually for my what the fuck did I just watch segment of the pod, you know, I go in on whatever I just watched, whether it be a documentary, whether it be a movie, whether it be a TV show. But I am so blessed this week to have somebody special join me for what the fuck did I just watch? Because this week's what the fuck did I just watch is W.A.G.s to Riches. And we have none other than CEO of Allure Realty, okay? Former United States paratrooper. She's a veteran. Y'all make some noise for the one, the only Sherelle Rosado.
Hey, Jess.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on, Sherelle. The folks don't know, I have been telling Sherelle that I really want to talk to her, that I want to have her on the pod. We talked last year, I want to say May. At the what the ABFF weekend, Miami.
We were filming during that time.
Yes, you were filming during that time, and I didn't even know exactly what you were filming yet. You told me you were filming, but we didn't get a chance to really dissect everything. I knew about Ashley. I met Alexis, but I had told Sherelle, like, I've been a fan, number one. Number two, I was like, when is Selling Tampa coming back? I've always asked her, girl, when the fuck is Selling Tampa coming back? What the fuck is going on? And so I'm really excited to have you so that we could talk about W.A.G.s to Riches. First and foremost, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How is your heart?
I think the biggest thing, it's a lot. It's very hard, you know, trying to fight a battle that is, you know, not true. Someone else opinion, it's not my fact. So trying to prove like I am a woman's woman, you know, I'm not a colorist or whatever. It's hard because, you know, deep down, and the people who truly know me know, you know, what I stand on and what I believe in regards to us as women, especially minority women.
Yeah. I think that, and we're gonna get into all that. You know, I just think the show, there's so much nuance and so much context that is missing. And I told you this before we sat down today. My goal is to just have you explain to us, like, what the contexts are for different things where people are misunderstanding things. But I don't want to go into this also just focusing just on that. Like, I want to tell you, I am so proud of you. Like, I am proud of you. This is a huge accomplishment. It is very, very hard to have, let alone one show on Netflix. You have now had 2 shows on Netflix. And for folks who don't understand, the entertainment space right now, it is so hard to get into. It is so hard to pitch. It is so hard for networks to even listen to you. So the fact that you're able to even do this, Sherelle, like, if nobody has told you congratulations, I want to tell you congratulations. This is a huge accomplishment, period.
Thank you, Jess.
Period. Just want to make that clear. Before we get into W.A.G.s to Riches, I have some unsettled beef with you because, again, where the fuck is Selling Tampa?
I wish I could tell you, you know, that's my baby, and I wish, you know, I hate, you know, that we couldn't show more. It did not get renewed, as you know, but I came trying to bring something better because we inspired so many women out there, so many people out there. And it, you know, it came to an end, but we made a statement.
Yeah. Definitely made a statement. Selling Tampa was always in the top 10.
Yes.
What was the highest that it rated?
Number 1.
Number 1.
Mhm.
It went to number 1 on Netflix.
Yeah.
And this was a Black female-led show about women selling real estate.
Mhm.
And I want to ask you how you all felt about the way it was received at the time.
I think, my biggest thing is I'm a Black woman in this industry, in the real estate industry, and, you know, transitioning from the military, going straight into real estate, I was hustling. I was an active duty military, and I wanted to get into real estate because that was gonna be my next full-time job once I medically retired. And just seeing other women getting into that luxury real estate,
Mhm.
it was hard. It was a closed circle. It's basically all about who you know. And I was like, you know what? Imma create something for us. Like I'm gonna open up a company to allow us to show how we can get to that next level without it being a closed niche or it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
And I gather a group of us together. I was like, hey, because I was doing classes and I was like, let's just get together. We're gonna break into that industry. And I
Mhm.
think with selling Tampa, and when I first opened the brokerage, I think, the audience misunderstood and it was a comparison between selling Sunset and, Jason Oppenheim's brokerage. He's been in the industry, mad respect for him because
Of
anytime I
course.
I have questions or anything, he's always there to help me. But it was like we were comparing 2 shows on the same level, and it wasn't that. Our show was something new, getting
And you
into
were
that.
a new brokerage, I wanna make that
We
clear.
wasn't even a year old. We probably were like 4 months old at the time that we came about. So it was, our own people criticizing us. "Oh, they ain't sell not one home." When I sold
Which
one of the
wasn't
biggest.
true.
It wasn't true.
Yeah.
People that's the thing with, you see one thing and then you just pick it up. You hear one thing and you just pick it up. But it wasn't true. I sold home to my Monique Rodriguez, my organist. She has a
Yes.
beautiful home here. Um, Raina sold a few homes. A few of the ladies sold, but of course everything doesn't get aired. So it just sucks that, the audience took it that way and we were compared to a amazing show, but we were 2 different shows.
Yeah, I think Black women are always gonna get harsher judgment, and unfortunately, sometimes you are gonna receive the harsher judgment from your own community.
Mhm.
But when I watched both shows, I was like, honestly, it's giving the same thing except skin color. As
Mhm.
well as I think that the criticism that was received was so harsh because it was coming from certain people. I remember like DJ Envy had his moment where he talked about you guys, didn't give
Mhm.
you a platform to go on the Breakfast Club, but was talking about it, and then turned around and got wrapped up in his own case that we ain't gonna discuss. But if you
We
do
gonna
your
talk about
Googles, you will know that
right.
DJ Envy has some controversy when it comes to real estate. Apparently,
Yeah.
he has a scheme that Todd set up. We ain't gonna discuss that. But I just felt that when you have these women who were really, really like, we got to see all of the girls
Mhm.
try their best at selling homes, and some were successful, some wasn't. Do you
Mhm.
think that um, you guys received fair criticism, or do you think it had to do with the fact that y'all were Black?
I wouldn't say that we were Black. I think, like I said before, I would say we were compared to a number 1 hit show that had multiple seasons. I think when we first came out, they were on season like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just a comparison like, oh, and it's 2 different states. Like, LA have beautiful homes, Florida have beautiful homes, California have a beautiful home. LA and Tampa are 2 different cities, so it's you can't it's like you
The
comparing
luxury is
apples.
different.
Yes, apples to oranges.
Mhm, mhm. Agreed. So now fast forward, Wags to Riches. Before we even get into the experience of filming the show, when did you know you were going to have Wags to Riches? How did it come about? Especially post selling Tampa.
So when Selling Tampa did not get renewed, my contract was coming to an end with my previous production company, and it was it was out there that Selling Tampa wasn't gonna get renewed, I had different producers reaching out to me,
Mm.
even a few networks, but I was still, under Netflix. My terms were still under Netflix, so
Okay.
whatever I had to do, it had to be with I had to pitch it to Netflix, and,
Okay.
I auditioned. I was hustling. I was actually in Qatar at the World Cup when I was, interviewing different production companies, and I was like, I wanna bring a Sell in Miami. I feel like, Miami have the homes, um, or I wanna do, like, a family show, something. So I had different ideas, and I fell in love, Gardner Reed with Spoke Studio. He was consistent. He was a big fan of Selling Tampa, and, we got together, and we was like, let's pitch a Selling Miami type show."
Mhm.
So, I gave him all my agents that were in Miami, um, and we did a pilot. It was more like, it's enough real estate shows. So, but we do like the narrative that, a lot of the agents are WAGs, are wives and
Mm.
girlfriends of athletes.
That's
So,
huge in Miami, huge.
mhm.
Yeah.
So the pilot for the real estate show didn't get picked up, but they changed the narrative a little bit. Let's bring back the WAGs type.
Mm.
A docu following WAGs, and they're not hanging on their husband or boyfriend or ex-spouse coattail anymore. They have a own lane of their own.
Mhm.
So that's how Wax to Riches came about.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we're at Wags to Riches. How
Mhm.
does the cast come about? First of all, I've told you this before in person. I've told you this earlier. I've always been an Ashley fan. There was
Yeah.
the original Wags that was on E, and
Mhm.
Ashley and Darnell. Where's Darnell? Darnell
I
ain't
don't
want to
know.
be.
I never personally met Darnell, so
Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I used to love seeing them together, but
Yeah.
Ashley's like an OG Wag.
Mhm.
So how did the cast come about?
So the only ones that I knew that, I had brought to the table for production, of course, Ashley, she's part of Allure and she has her own business going.
Mm-hmm.
MJ is one of my younger agents, and who else? I brought Keita and Portia. They're
Okay.
all agents. So then when you start to go out for casting, they'll start asking other people, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's word of mouth. That's how other people started to tag along. When
Okay.
they were casting out, they were like, okay, who do you know? So people knew people, and then they just did a whole casting, and they went with who they wanted.
So you were not the head of casting for the
No,
show.
no.
Okay. But the young ladies that you did bring forward, they were already at Allure or
Mhm.
about to be at Allure, like
Correct.
Keita and Ashley. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, then damn, this makes the next question kind of dumb, but were all the ladies friends beforehand? Did they all know each other?
No.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one. The only ones that knew each other, of course, we knew Lexus because I Am Woman podcast.
Yes.
And then we created our own podcast, Humble Baddies. But no one knew. I brought Portia in, and no one knew the other ladies. I never knew who Sade was. I never knew who Jules was, and I never knew Stony
Okay.
until we actually started. We got together and filmed the pilot for Wax to
Okay.
Riches. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to keep that in the back pocket for later on because you're saying
Mhm.
you didn't know. Okay. So you didn't know
No.
these yet. Okay. All right. So we see bits and pieces of the ladies, their lives. I wish I saw more of Ashley. I mean,
I
Ashley's
did
been there.
too.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I wish I saw more of her with Phil. The Wheelers, that family is, I
It's a
love
beautiful family. Like they
beautiful.
are. It's a true Black love,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
real Black love, and I love that. I wish it would have highlighted more of, you know, the inside of their homes and
Yes, because people don't know. Ashley got that money. Now, sorry, Ashley, and I don't mean to count your pocket, but everybody who know
Yes.
Ashley and Philip, they got that coin now. So
Mhm.
I was waiting to see more. I'm glad we saw like the Alexander Wang moment. Okay, and we
Right.
did see that one scene where Philip was just dangerously horny in their backyard. But I was like, where is, I wanted to see more of the family. We did get to see Andre Berto and Portia, right?
Yes.
and their pregnancy journey. Alexis honestly was my favorite. I loved Alexis.
Alexis is so graceful.
I loved Alexis, but I did wish we saw more. It kind of more felt like the show focused more so on you, and it
Mhm.
focused that there was a thread amongst the women that, well, we're all here because of Sherelle. So,
Mhm.
what do you wish we saw more of when it came to the other ladies' storylines?
I wish the show highlighted more of their actual businesses. It didn't highlight,
Mhm.
the hustle. Sade owns a clothing swimsuit line.
Mhm.
Ashley owns a healthy juice bar that's known raw
Mhm.
juice. Lexis own a cannabis, like she's an investor in the big cannabis, one of the only black investors in the cannabis. Um, Keita has a whole tech company.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to Portia,
She
she
spoke a
has the
little bit of it, but we didn't
right.
get to see. Yeah.
Portia has the bad bitch good mom and how it started. It really I feel like it went straight to, the guns and it didn't introduce us and our connections
Yeah. Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah. It we needed more of that, I believe. And
Mhm.
also too, when I look at the cast, the girls have I mean, now that we know all the girls really didn't know each other,
Mhm.
um I feel like there are some girls who were kind of out of place to me. For instance,
Mhm.
I loved MJ, but I was wondering, okay, what is she doing here? I felt like MJ gives me more of an artist.
Mhm.
But then listening to her story, obviously she was trying to not just be Kodak Black's girlfriend, but she wanted to have her own business so that she could take care of her children. What do you feel about just the mixture of backgrounds and how that was portrayed through the show?
I feel like it the story was trying to show the difference between a hip hop, a rap, music industry woman and a athlete woman.
Okay.
So I feel like that's where the balance came from. It was like trying to compare. I don't know, but it was like you had your hip hop girlfriends, ex girlfriends, or baby mamas, and then you had your athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and how we work together, how we come together and vibe together with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it didn't show that. It kind of showing us.
Yeah, it was just kind of like scattered around. Like, I mean, I'm from Miami. I was raised in Dade, so I know like the WAGs culture down there is very, very big. But
Huge.
for those who don't know, I just feel like the setup was it wasn't streamlined well enough for me so that everybody can have a better context, a better nuance.
Right.
But let's take a moment and even talk about you. You're a WAG before we get back into the cast. You're a WAG. You're with Ocho Cinco, and so you know how it is to be with an athlete or a person with a big name. What are some like misconceptions that you feel people have about WAGs?
I think the biggest one is, they ride their spouse or their boyfriend's coattail, they using their money, they lean on them. Oh, if it wasn't for this person, you wouldn't be where you're at, you wouldn't be who you are. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. Because a lot of even, I wasn't with Chad when he was in his prime career.
Mm-hmm.
But even, like Ashley, she's been there supporting, holding it down when, Phil had to travel. And, it's a lot on as a woman to have to pick up the household, relocate. I, I, I give an example, just like the military, you relocating every 3 to 4 years. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot. You have
Mm-hmm.
just as much stress, just as much as, the athlete.
Yeah. Do you think that, I mean, I was gonna say women, but do you think men and women look at WAGs like y'all kind of basically like don't have no feelings? Like, we don't give a fuck. Like, you guys have it made. So like,
I think people who don't understand the WAC culture, the women who are with athletes, they think that, they haven't made, oh, you don't have to worry about nothing. You got all the money you want. You don't have, but with money come problems. And
mm-hmm,
they don't understand that. I think they just think, most women live this luxury, luxurious lifestyle, but we have the same problems just like someone who working at a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I look at you and I even think about the response you just gave, it makes me think about your dynamic with Chad.
Mhm.
Is there a part of you that shows up in your relationship in a way where you want to dispel that? Like, in a sense that, listen, I'm not here for your money. I got my
Mhm.
own. I ain't here to depend on you. Bitch, I'm Sherelle.
Right.
Okay.
And you know what? Chad has said that numerous times, on social media, everything. I have never had someone like this where she brought her own to the table. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't know, but I did have Allure Realty and I did have my first Netflix show before Chad. Not to take away, Chad is a high profile athlete, celebrity. He did, elevate it to another level, but it, I had things, I brought a lot to the table. I brought the
Mhm.
table to another table.
On the table. Point blank, period. I bought the menu.
Right. I
Speaking of the
filled in the
menu,
dining space.
right? Speaking of the menu, there is a scene where you and Chad are walking into this restaurant. I'm like, oh, this is cute. I think this is even post like you all meeting with the pastor. Y'all was getting a counseling from your pastor. I was like, oh, this is cute. Now they going out to dinner.
Oh, this was at my house with the
Yes,
pastor?
yes.
Yes,
That
this was
was
at my house.
so wholesome. Okay, cool. Look at
Mhm.
them believing
Pastor
in Jesus
shout
and
out to
shit.
Pastor Jomo.
Okay, Pastor Joe Mo, look at them believing in the Lord. And then
Mhm.
post that, now y'all going out to dinner. I'm like, okay, this is about to be a cute little night, cute little date night. Y'all kissing, y'all touching up all each other. All of a sudden, 2 people show up. And we go from dinner to World War I. Like, I'm just like, what is going on? And
Right.
there is the discussion of prenups. Now, we gonna go through this because Sherelle, I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life.
Listen, I didn't either.
Sherelle,
I didn't know it existed.
no, Sherelle, I'm telling you right now, I was so stressed watching that because, like, first of all, period, right? But then second of all, okay, what's going on? It's a lot. It's like it just escalated so much.
Right.
So I want to say some of the things that were in the scene, just for those of you guys who have not seen it yet. Please go watch it. Please go. And when you watch Wags to Riches, watch it all the way through.
Please.
Watch it all the way through. It is a very easy watch. Watch it all the way through before you form your thoughts. Trust me on this. Because your feeling on episode 2 might not be the same feeling by episode 8. Please, just watch it all the way through. But y'all at dinner, prenups start coming up. So you up front are demanding a lump sum alimony of $3 million per year to be paid on your wedding anniversary. That was diabolical, Sherelle.
Listen, my lawyer, I felt like, so it was the conversation that was before that. And I felt like it was the 2 lawyers going back and forth because we never discussed the $3 million.
Listen,
I had to be like this, like, I'm going to stick
listen.
beside her right now.
I saw that. I was like, your lawyer is coming in. Annalise Keaton was coming in. She said, we need $3 million per year paid on your wedding anniversary.
Listen, I was kicking her. I was like,
it was crazy. Then you have Chad coming in and proposing $15,000 monthly. Then you guys start talking about percentages of each other's business. So both of you were, I think you proposed 25%. He was like, hell nah. He proposes 1%. And both of you were saying, well, why you should have percentages in the other person's business. You said, listen, like, I've had Allure before you. So why would I give you a percentage of that? But then Chad said, but I have finance. I have paid towards things to make your business more successful. And then you brought up the fact that, yeah, you do have your podcast with Mr. That's My Michelle. I love Trina Sharp, by the way.
I do too.
But you said, listen, like, yeah, you have your podcast, but I have contributed to that. Walk us through the thought process for the alimony discussion. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Jess, I'm not finna sugarcoat this shit. I never seen anything either. I felt like it was because we didn't have this discussion. I felt like it was
Mhm.
a battle between the two lawyers.
Okay.
Because Chad and it was like, okay, you want this? Like, don't play. Cause I came, I'm not playing. So, I mean, Chad stuck beside his lawyer and I stuck beside mine. But at the end of the day, I don't think this scene made it. We did, we had a conversation. It's not about the money because it's not.
Mhm.
At the
Yeah,
end
because
of the
both of
day,
you yeah.
I would prefer more. You need to put something, that to make sure the kids are taken care of. If something was to ever happen to either one of us, that money goes towards the kids. And that was said in the scene, but I don't think it made the cut. But that's
Yeah.
our main issue is to make sure all of our kids are taken care of.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a good outlook. There
Mhm.
was a section where you guys talked about the infidelity clause. Now, a lot of people have an infidelity clause, and in the recent years, that has become super popular, especially for folks that have a lot of money or folks that
Mhm.
who are high profile individuals. What did you think about Chad's response to that? Because when the infidelity clause was mentioned, his response was, "Well, I don't think that you're ready for marriage if that's going to be a clause." Tell me what your thoughts were on that.
That's a bullshit ass answer. Response. That's what my thoughts are. That's a bullshit ass response. Me being ready for marriage that doesn't have nothing to pertain to this infidelity clause. That's
Listen,
all I'm gonna say.
listen. And infidelity happens. I have heard you guys, well, both of you speak on your relationship as of yet.
Mhm.
It happens. Was this discussion what led to you all's breakup? Because after this, we don't see Chad.
No, Chad was after that, Chad, football season has kicked in, so he's traveling back and forth. So he's very busy.
Mhm.
So you don't see that much of him because he's working like crazy now.
Mhm. But this was not what led to you all not being together.
N- not
Oh,
the scene, not the prenup scene, no.
okay. Okay. 'Cause I was like, okay, girl, that prenup talk, that's probably why he,
No.
girl.
No, the prenup scene was not the reason.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you feel that you struggle with resting in your relation, or you guys are not together at the moment, right? You guys
Right.
are,
No,
right.
we're not together.
Do you feel that when you all were together, did you struggle with resting in your relationship? Because you speak so highly of him, yet
Mhm.
the daggers do come out.
Right.
So do you feel that you struggled with resting? And if you did, what have you done post that relationship to help you with that?
I speak highly because overall you can't judge a person by certain characters that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I look at if the good outweigh the bad, then they are a good person. And that's that's how I take my judgment on people who I'm close to.
Mm-hmm.
Now are there things that need to be healed with certain people, with all of us? Yes. Um and we speak on them. I can't change him. No one can change him but
Yeah.
himself, just like no one can change me but myself and God. Um I think the biggest thing is our communication. So to answer your question, no, I didn't struggle with resting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I made a mature decision to exit the situation before anything could get worse, and you know we ended up disliking each other or losing respect
Mm-hmm.
for each other.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I asked that though is because like even like, I feel like there's this thing that you echo a lot. Like, I have my this, I came with this, I came with that, right?
Hmm.
And yes, you're a boss, but I think sometimes with Chad, it looks like he's looking at you kind of like, well, you don't have to say it. You don't have to remind me of that. Like, I still want to be that man for you. I
Right.
guess like that's the tone that I'm getting,
Oh,
which is,
with that, Chad doesn't. He likes to brag about what I do and what I have. I don't think when it comes to him as a man and what I have as a woman, he loves it. He gets a high off of it. I don't throw it in his face,
okay.
so that wasn't one of the issues with that.
Okay. Okay. So period. So let's get back to the cast. So I just want to run down the cast a little bit because we kind of talked about Ashley. We kind of talked about Alexis. Well, Alexis is my favorite.
I know.
Um, I want to talk about Sade for a moment.
Mhm.
So I think that there's a scene, I think it's like in episode 2 maybe, where there's a
Yes,
brunch.
at the brunch.
There's a
Mhm.
brunch. And you all are discussing, I think y'all are at the bad mom, the bitch, what was it? The Portia's
Bad
mom,
bitch bad bitch, good mom.
bad bitch, good moms. And we're at the brunch, and there's a discussion going around, and Sade and MJ, I think MJ said it first, that you are a mean girl, right?
Mhm.
And then you have this exchange between you and Sade where Sade, she kind of ate you up, not gonna lie. But but I kind of want to ask you, is there any context missing in that discussion?
There's
Because
a lot of
okay.
context missing, with I was actually shocked that Sade came for me because apparently rewind, we had a lot of things happen behind the camera.
Mhm.
We had went to dinner and somebody had to remind me. I was like, "Girl, I do not remember that whole conversation."
Mhm.
Sade mentioned things that happened with her and Keita. It was a
Kita.
few things, but I don't remember that conversation. I don't remember Sade telling me anything in regards to Keita.
Okay.
And I think Sade in her head thought I went back and told Keita something. And I was like, no. And I said this before. I was like, I would never go back and disclose anything that someone says. And because it was like, you can tell when somebody vibe is off. And I felt that vibe with Sade.
Mhm.
But I think Sade in the back of her head, she felt like because Keita and I started hanging together, that I would go back and say something. I never said anything to either one of them.
And
We
what was this about? It
In
wasn't about
regards to it was like I don't
I think there was like a filming that happened. So basically there was a football game
it's not
and
yeah, it's like, oh, maybe Keita feel like she's better than the other girl. She wouldn't speak. That's the original conversation that Sade had with a few of the girls, a few of us.
okay, because on television, we're focusing on there was a football game where
Mhm.
the WAGs paid for a suite together, and at the
Right.
last minute, Keita wanted to have the Hard Knock folks come in and
The
film
the Hard Knocks folks wanted to film two girls. One was Keita because her husband is the top
Tariq.
player.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I don't know who the other female, and the girls was like, "No, if they wanna film, they can pay for it." But all the girls paid for it, and it was a blizzard. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
apparently I wasn't there. Keita
Yeah.
said it was enough space. Keita is the one who came and told me the story of who she didn't get along with.
Okay.
Nothing was and let me rephrase that. She never said who she didn't get along with. She said, there was little issues, but she never spoke negative about Sade.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where but you can feel the energy when they're around each other. Everyone could feel the energy when they were around each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a deeper scene that didn't make it. We had to redo it, but it went into detail of how the situation happened. And I think me just being the person in the middle of it, I was talking to we was actually talking about before we had the Mother's Day brunch, and
Okay.
Sade was called me messy boots behind the scenes, behind the cameras. And she said it at the brunch.
Mm-hmm.
And Ashley was like, I don't understand. Like, I was on the Dolphins and, we didn't act like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think where people don't understand is Ashley's going to speak how she feel, whether it's to me, to whoever. She's going to call a spade a spade. And it's not her riding my coattail, but when she see wrong, she's going to address it.
Yeah,
And
because there are people who feel like once you were branded that,
right.
there are folks who feel, okay, Ashley tends to side with you a lot, and so Ashley is a mean girl as well.
But she's not. Ashley is very down to earth. I mean, we both have a military background.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very direct. And I think people take that as a mean girl, but we don't go behind each other back talking about each other. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
say how we feel in their face.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the women that's on the show wasn't used to that. It's like we can have a conversation without arguing. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you how I feel without arguing. And if we're supposed to be together and we're trying to build a friendship, that's how it's supposed to be. because I don't want you going behind my back talking about me. I would rather you come to my face and disclose what you have to disclose.
Right. And also, too, I mean, I've met Ashley on several occasions. She's really a sweet girl, which is why I'm just like, I feel like we didn't really get enough context as to who she is.
Right.
But yeah, so I do feel, okay, so as far as you being a mean girl, the girlies are saying you're a mean girl. Do you think that's just based on your directness? Or do you think sometimes you can be a mean person?
I think they took that, when Miranda came and she was laughing like Mean Girl, there was an incident that happened before we started filming that night, a few nights prior. I had went to Playa. I had my own section. Myself, Ashley, and Lexi, we hang out like this. Like, we're always together. So usually we take turns, getting it. At that night, it was my turn to, get the section, get the bottles or whatever. And more girls came. I don't know Stoney, but at this point, I heard that Stoney was in the streets trying to gather information about me because we just started filming, and she wanted tea on me. So I'm like, damn, she can come to me for it. So they was like, bring Stoney over here. I said, no. Stoney is not sitting with me. If she want to go somewhere, she can get her own section, because at that time, it was coming back to me that, she was talking crap about me and trying to get tea on me.
So this is off camera?
Off camera, yes.
Okay. So these are the happenings that are happening off camera. And so once, I guess, MJ witnessed you saying Stoney can't come here, that's when you were branded.
I said she can't come to my section. That's when she was like, oh, I was like, no, she can get her own. Like, we can be in the same room. She can get her own, but I don't do fakeness. Yeah. Like, you're not about to be around trying to get tea on me and talk about me, but then we breaking bread and chick toasting together. I don't operate like that.
Were y'all already filming the show at that point?
We were filming. This was like the first couple of episodes, yes.
And then, so y'all were already filming the show at that point? Okay.
That's why I said a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes. And it was just a lot of stuff coming towards me because I guess, nobody knows. The only thing that people know Stoney about is the sex tape. And we made it clear we did not want to discuss a sex tape.
So you made that. So why did that become such a focal point of her storyline if you guys didn't want to discuss that?
Because that is her story. She has nothing. She has nothing else. And, they're going to, if she do a casting tape and I'm the one who sued 50 Cent and I got $7 million, they're going to elect, you got 50 Cent, you got Rick Ross, and you all this in the camera talking about how that's what they're going to focus on. You know how production works.
I was going to say too, just allow me to interject. And y'all, this is just from my experience. When you are doing a show, before you do that, there are a series of interviews. And if you're doing an ensemble type show, they're trying to find what your storyline is and trying to intertwine that with others. And so from what you're saying is, while y'all did not want to discuss that, that was her story.
Correct.
So it had to be discussed. Now, here's my thing with that. And I understand that was her story. I particularly found it troubling that she was branded a hoodlum, but MJ wasn't. Because you got MJ snatching bitches out of cars for Kodak D Black, like in real time, getting arrested. But Stoney, I mean, yes, that was her storyline, but she was a victim of revenge P.
Right. And so before we get to the, I said hood rats. I was just
I think it was hoodlum.
Hoodlums. Yeah, hoodlums. Before we get to that, I sympathize for Stoney about that. Like, I don't wish that on my worst enemy of what she had to go through. Like, that's some bullshit. And my biggest concern with her when I found out that she was calling around getting tea on me, they was like, do you know who this woman is? She's in a call girl, a escort magazine. And I had the video where Tia and 50 Cent had the magazine, and it showed her about the name of Brooke.
The This Is 50 stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so people don't know. People don't understand.
Right. Yeah. And all that was cut. So if you are first, I'm hearing that you're talking crap about me. Then you I address you about the situation. You have my best friend, Nicole Lionel, all her pictures of her on your page like it's your business. I address that. You get mad about it. And people are saying
Wait, her wardrobe.
her wardrobe, her picture, Nicole actual pictures, even pictures of her making it
Oh
look like it was her
no.
business. Yes.
Okay, so
So it's
some folks don't know. Nicole Lionel has a big boutique. She's been selling clothes for a long time. So she
correct
was taking pictures from her page, putting them on her page as
page
if
like
this is
it's
the merchandise that she sells.
correct.
Okay. Okay.
And then also Mina Monroe, she has a nice boutique. It was just a lot. And I said, it's not right as a small business, we have to work hard for our stuff and y'all in the same industry. That's not fair. Like that's where all the beef started up. And
Okay.
then when I started hearing she was talking crap about me, the sex tape, not the sex tape, the escort, the magazine came about. I said, I don't want to be affiliated with somebody who has a bad reputation. It's not good for me and my business. So I can be in the same room as you, but I don't want to be affiliated with you because you sneak this and want to play victim. Granted, I hate that you had to go through that whole sex tape, being released because it's not your fault. But my main reasons for not wanting to deal with Stoney had nothing to do with a sex tape.
Okay. It had to do with you both, your dealings where you felt she was trying to find dirt on you and possibly bring it to the show.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still, with all that, I have to ask, right? Because you said you don't want to be associated with someone like that is supposedly, allegedly an escort, but you have MJ.
Right.
So I think that's where, even at the top of the interview where you were talking about like colorism, I think that's where folks are like, okay, so the light-skinned girl can go to jail. She can beat women up. She can, and then come back on camera and tell you, yeah, and bitches will get dealt with. Like, she's letting us know. I think even this past weekend, she got into another fight with another one of Kodak Black's baby mamas. But then you have this woman who happens to be dark-skinned. And what happened to her was like 15 years ago. So
Right.
why does she have to carry the shame of something she was an actual victim of, but MJ gets to not
Right.
be regarded in that light? Do you get what I'm
Right. I
saying?
get what you're saying. And to
Yeah.
go back and to remind, because people take what they want to hear. Her sex tape was not the reason why I chose to not to be around her. It had
Okay.
nothing to do with her sex tape. This was personal beef that wasn't filmed, that wasn't captured, that the audience don't know. So, and as far as Stoney and MJ at the end of the day, until she's removed from under my brokerage, I have to guide and lead her. She doesn't have any guidance right now. So I had talks with her. MJ know I don't play about that. And I tell her all the time, a lot of stuff was not shown in the scenes, but she know that we carry ourselves to a standard. And I told her, like, we had talks. It's not because MJ is light skinned. MJ is one of my agents. So until I remove her license, I'm still held accountable for her. So I have to be on her. I have to carry her. I just can't let her go the way. And it's a big age difference. MJ is 22 years old. Stoney is in her mid 40s. So that's the grace. That's why I show grace with MJ, because it's like she's young and she's my agent. I'm responsible for her.
So that is the nuance that folks are not understanding, is
Right.
that your source of dissension with Stoney is not the sex tape. It
No.
is that you all had these dealings off camera where you felt that, hey, obviously, if you're trying to get dirt on me, we're filming, you obviously want to bring it to camera. So that's where that is. So I just want folks to just understand that. But also, I want folks to be clear that you are anti-colorism.
Girl, my mama is the same color as you.
Okay. So just want to, because I want to make that clear, because I have the pleasure of having contact with you.
Right.
I have the pleasure of knowing your heart. I think that the masses do not understand what you just mapped out for us. But also, I want them to know, like, I want you to say it for yourself, like, where you stand on colorism. And, you know, how you feel about the fact that, okay, yeah, the colorism was loud on the show, but here's where I stand.
Right. No, that's true. It sucks. Like, I was in tears at times because I know, like, what I have to deal with as a trying to prove my point. Like, I'm a Black female, no matter what people say. And I know what my mom had to go through. I know what my sister had to go through. I don't stand against, it's not about color. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Yes. Do I take responsibility? Could I handle the situation better with the whole, approaching Stoney? Yes. And we talked about it, and I apologized to her because at the end of the day, I want all women to win. I have a brokerage full of beautiful chocolate women. So as far as colorism, it's not that. Anybody can tell you who truly knows me. I'm a woman's woman, and I put anybody on. No matter if you white, brown, black, purple, green. It's not about that. And I hate that, people are running with that narrative because that's not true. I love every skin color. But what I don't take is someone playing victim and trying to use a narrative saying, oh, the light skin versus the dark skin. Get that shit away from me because I don't tolerate that. I don't like discrimination. I had to go through it as a child, being a light-skinned girl, because I grew up in a small country town and I got picked on. I don't like that, and it's not right. So to run with that narrative, that is not me.
Well, I'm happy that you're making that totally clear, because I really, really wanted to talk to you about that. I think that's just like the number one thing. I mean, we're gonna get into no Jews,
Right.
but that's the
No,
number one.
it really pissed me off because
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
the number one thing for me. Because like I love you, but when I was watching the show, I felt away because I'm like, well, damn, like, because I look like Stoney. Stoney looks like
right.
me. And then also, I don't know Stoney personally, but Stoney has had a boutique for many, many years. When I lived back in Miami, she always had a boutique. And I feel that the show we do see her in Instatique a lot, but it kind of paints her in a way where she's like struggling. And I'm like, girl, you need to do a better job of bigging up yourself because you've been around for a while. She's been doing this for a minute. So I felt away. Not gonna hold you. Watching
No,
the
of
show.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. I felt the way looking at it and then just saying, like, I cried, like, trying to prove points when, I know I'm not that person. And it hurts my heart because it's like, you don't compare me to somebody else who is that like that. Like, I know who I am. I have a chocolate mother. I have 4 chocolate aunties. Like, I don't play about that. And to carry that narrative, that pissed me off. I didn't get sleep. It's like I'm crying to my mom, like, Mom, she said, you know who you are deep down inside. You know what type of person you are. And the people who truly know me knows my heart and know who I am as a person.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that we discussed that because
My co-business partner, Joanna Colbert.
Joanna, yes!
Yes. Joanna was like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, Joanna looks like me. I look like Joanna. I love Joanna.
Exactly. Colony,
Annie,
my
and
best friend is
Sophie.
Martini. Like, come on, let's create another narrative because that's not it.
Yeah.
I'll take Mean Girl anytime over being a colorist, whatever you want to call it. That's not me.
Well, I'm glad we're putting that to bed. Yeah. Let's get into the scene. I think it's the most talked about scene in the show. But before that, now, Sherelle, did you know that you were sitting next to Anita Brown, the lady who lied about being pregnant for David?
Yes.
Did you I'm like, okay, I'm trying to stick with my girl. But girl, you have Anita Brown at the table. Anita lied about being pregnant for Davido, and she talked in a very disgusting manner about those twins that him and his wife lost.
See, I didn't know any of that. Like, again, Anita was one of the girls who was being casted. Rewind. When we did our pilot, Anita and Stoney,
we gonna get into all the nuances. Go ahead.
Anita and Stoney was like this during they got into a big altercation where Stoney was talking shit about Anita. They got into it and they fell out.
Okay.
Stoney was talking shit when we were filming the pilot. You know how they keep everyone apart from each other, right? So Stoney was saying something to the point where these bitches trying to set us up, telling Anita this while we're inside, they're trying to get the scenes going. These bitches are in there trying to set us up, getting Anita riled up. Because, Anita is she going to say whatever.
No,
She's a little firecracker.
I'm
So
very
then,
aware of who Anita is, child.
I don't know her. I don't know Anita personally. I don't know her.
Okay.
She was one that was casted out during the filming as well.
Okay.
So Anita comes up like, what the fuck, after Stoney got her riled up, what the fuck is going on? Y'all bitches in here trying to, like, going in on production and everything. And they were like, you gotta go. So Anita was like, and then that's when Anita called Stoney out. You gonna sit here and you gonna get me riled up and do this, blah, 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 blah. When, bitch, you the one who started this. So that's how their relationship ended. It was a whole shit
going on.
It's
Yeah,
a lot
going on.
It's so much behind the scenes that it's crazy. So now Anita is not in it, but they knew she was a firecracker. So when it's time to film, when they wanted to do the victory scene, they were like, okay, we're going to bring 2 of the people back that we casted out before. One was from our first one, that was Kania. She was not part of my brokerage when she was filming.
Okay.
And Kania caused the scene at the first real estate pilot with Colony Reeves.
Not my colony.
My colony, yes.
Not my colony, girl.
So they seen the firecracker in Kania. The second pilot that we filmed for the W.A.G.s, Anita caused the scene. So they like, okay, these are our,
scene causers.
Correct.
Our firecrackers.
So they came on and everyone thought, because, I have consultant producer credits, that I was the one that brought them on. I have no say-so over anything. Hell, I didn't even know that they was coming on. I'm like, how the hell I get caught up in this?
No, because I'm like, oh, consultant producer, period. She set this up.
That ain't nothing but a name.
She set this up. This was a scheme that Sherelle Rosado set up.
Look, Jess, this show would not be the way it is if I had any say-so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So them coming on, I guess they want, it wanted to turn it up a notch, but Kania turned it up a notch. But the thing about what happened with Kania's situation, before filming, Jules came up to her and looked at her, oh, what you doing here? You must be extra. And Kania didn't.
Okay, hold on. Hey, well, hold on. Okay. Hold on, because I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you who that young lady was. But you answered everything, because when I was just doing my online findings, when you guys had the premiere parties that y'all been having, grabbing in everybody's Insta story, just like, okay, hold on. Okay. So she was filming before.
Right.
Kania was filming before. She was
before Jules ever came along.
Okay. So she was on another pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And so she comes to this outing that everybody came to.
Mm-hmm.
She was still holding on to Jules calling her an extra.
Correct. She was pissed. Because it was the deliverance. Kania was like, the deliverance could have been better. Okay. Like, you looking me up and down. What you doing here? You must be an extra. And Jules got that strong, raspy voice.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't even make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So Kania started drinking. And she's like, I guess, I don't know how the conversation went. I don't know what happened, because they were at another table. But they started talking about the culture vulture, which, I mean, like I said, I didn't know Jules.
Did you not know that no Jules is the reason why Daniel Caesar does not have a career, Sherelle? You didn't know that?
I did not know anything about this woman.
You did not know about the "can I get away with saying nigga"? You did not know about no Jules coming for Scotty Beam and like other black women on Twitter?
During filming, when I started doing my research, I was like, this girl is horrible.
Like, so why was she invited to be in the midst of Black women's during Black women's? What the hell is going on, Black Women's Month?
I think it was questioned by a few people in regards to that. Like, we don't want this type of, energy. But we have no say so over who's casted.
Okay. So this had nothing. You were not the one who said yes to no Jules.
I didn't even know who she was. I think Sade referred her.
Okay. So she was friends with Sade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so back at this dinner, okay, so the culture vulture moment comes up. You have, what was her name? What was the young lady's name?
Kania.
Kania. She looks Haitian. Is she Haitian?
No, I don't
No?
think
Okay,
so.
I thought she was a sister. But she brought up the culture vulture moment. They're going back and forth. No Jules, says the B word first. But then they're going back and forth, and a black woman was asked by a white woman,
What you do for the
what do you
culture.
do for your culture? I need to sit in that because, yes, I don't condone violence, but that is a violent question to ask a black woman, especially if you are a white woman. So a
Right.
white woman asked a black woman, what do you do for your culture? So they have this tussle, and then following the tussle, that same white woman said, my hair is real, in reference to,
After the fight, she stood up on that bitch. That's my hair is real.
right. And so now the audience is watching the show, and there are a lot of black women who are in support of No Jules because of the way the scene is streamlined. Mind you, I'm gonna let you know right now, that ass whooping was ancestral. Now I don't like I might not like the way it was streamlined, but the
Right.
ancestors ordered that ass whooping. I just want people to understand that. But when you watch the show, in the context of the show, there is a feeling that it was a scheme that Todd set up to come to us with the bullshit. What do you have to say for folks who are watching it and saying, wow, this girl was bullied by a bunch of black women?
She was not bullied. Jules knows what she's doing. She know how to act. She know what she's doing. She was not bullied. She could stand on her own two grounds. She could have kept her she should have stayed home, first of all. Because coming after, if you claim you had an abortion that same day, why are you outside? You should have stayed home. She never wanted that conversation to come up. The whole culture vulture, she never. But if you know that's your main story, it had to be addressed being around a bunch of black women.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to bring it up. You didn't want to talk about it. You want to divert your energy and put the blame on everyone else. Every time she got into something, every time something happened, oh, she was triggered by something else. The fight. Oh, she was triggered because I asked her, did she want any more kids? Take accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that, the other young lady didn't have her wrongs in it as well. I mean, obviously fighting, period. I mean,
Right.
and I say this as somebody who used to fight all the time, but we all know like fighting is never the answer.
No.
But I do feel that there was a lot of lack of accountability on her end for the things that she said to the young lady. And I think there's a lot of nuance that's even left out of that.
Right.
But she does say that she spoke to you about having an abortion.
So, yeah, I can go into that.
Mhm.
So out of nowhere, Jules never calls me. I was getting ready for that scene that night, and Jules calls me, and she said her first words was, "Damn, Ocho." I think it was something in the blogs about Chad and Evelyn at the time that had just can't circle back around. She
Mhm.
was like, "Damn," like high energy because she up and down. You never know what's going on with Jules.
Mhm.
And we looked. My hairstylist was there. She was on speaker, and we looked at each other like, "What? Why would she call and say that?" Um,
She
and she
said,
was
"Damn," as
as it was something in regards to I don't know if it was the Joe Budden. It was something that was going out. I can't remember, and I don't want to give the wrong information, but it was in
Mhm.
regards to Chad and Evelyn.
Mhm.
And she called and she said, "Damn." And we looked at each other like, why would she call about that? And then she was like, "Well, I don't think I'm coming out tonight. I just had an abortion today." And I was like, "Girl, you're
There
supposed to be like stay in the house. Why would you come if
Mhm.
you're not having if you just had an abortion?" She was like, "Yeah, I just took the pill. Um, so I'm not basically I'm going through things right now. I
Okay.
said, well, you need to stay home. She gets there before all of us. And someone asked her, so who did you tell that you had an abortion? Because she told producers too. She was like, well, I told Sherelle. They was like, So fast forward, she was fine or whatever. I forgot all about her even telling me she had an abortion, because I'm not saying like you have energy, you're drinking, you got on a cute little outfit or whatever, like
Mhm.
you're corresponding, and the topic came up about kids because Portia had just announced she had it, she was pregnant or whatever,
Mhm.
and we
And
were
it was
talking.
a couple all the couples were at that table
All the couples
talking.
was at the table, and we asked, because we always pick with Ashley and Phil, saying they should have a girl, a baby girl, she'll be so beautiful.
Mhm.
So we asked Ashley and Phil as well. The next person at the table was Jules. I'm going around asking. That's how I communicate. I include everyone. It's just that's natural for me. And
Mhm.
when I asked her, she was like, "If the time comes," basically gave a sad face. And I was like,
Mm.
"Oh shit!"
Oh,
Like
so
she just told me that. I was like, "Damn, fuck." But I
yeah.
kept filming. But how it made it look like I smirked at her or something, it was nothing like that. It didn't hit me until after I asked her and she gave that look. But then
Mm.
I questioned it because I'm like, okay, you're drinking, you're fighting. You never went to this after everything. And I'm like, okay, you using that too much, using me asking you, did you want kids? If you go back and watch it, she still stayed at the table. She's talking, she's laughing, she's back
Mhm.
laughing, back, having conversations, and then she gets up and go over there to the next table.
Mhm.
But you never you see her in an outfit, you never see her go to the bathroom. We filming for 4 hours. If you just had an abortion that day, you're cramping and you gonna have to go change because you're passing the blood clot.
Mhm.
None of that happened. Then the next day you in a two-piece thong bathing suit because it was Memorial Weekend. So then I questioned it. I was like, now she's about to use this narrative.
Do you feel that I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that there was some untruth to that? Basically that maybe that didn't happen
I do. I feel
and
like
and
once
maybe that was something that she kinda used to kinda just, "I don't wanna like, let's just kinda ease off on me tonight during filming?"
no, I feel like she ran with that story more after she got to
Okay.
fighting. That's
Okay.
when it started to get worse because I called everyone whoever she said that I said something to. I put them on a three-way call, and they said I never told them anything. So she
Mm.
used that. I felt like she used that story as her cop out, that I triggered her to go over there and act a fool.
Okay. Okay. So, post the fight, there is the scene at Alexander Wang, and it just feels like all the ladies were trying to talk to her about taking accountability, but she just was not open to that at all. What was the thought process, I guess, like amongst the group going forward? Because she's recently come out and basically made it seem as though like it was all of you guys versus her.
See, and that's where
That
that's
nobody was taking any moment to really listen to her. She did have that scene with Alexis where
mhm.
Alexis was like giving her a lending ear, but also she was like, hey, like there is nuance to you being a white woman and you talking to a black woman the way you did. And Jules was like, well, I am Puerto Rican and Italian. It's like, and Alexis was like, okay, so you're still white.
Right.
You're white in cursive. Okay. Like Christopher Columbus was Italian. Okay. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
Right.
you're still a white woman asking, saying certain things to a black woman. And I felt like she just was Alexis, even in her delivery, I felt that no Jules was not listening to Alexis at all.
She don't listen. She wants to place the blame on everyone else. So for the Alexander Wayne situation, Ashley made it clear she did not want to be around someone who don't know how to maintain their bearing. She made
Okay.
it clear to everyone. So when Jules came in there, she was already on cloud nine. And Ashley was like, shocked at the point that she's even coming to her event. So I took it upon myself to bring Jules to the side and, talk about the situation because she was going around saying that, oh, I was spreading that she had an abortion. So I wanted to address it. And Ashley was in shock to see her. She was like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you here? Basically, because this is a place that I shop. It's already embarrassment. Y'all can't even have a conversation. She actually cussed me out too. It just wasn't shown on the what you call. Like, y'all take that shit somewhere else.
Well, damn, why didn't they let us see that?
They didn't see any of
Ashley
that.
just seems like she's just like a parrot sometimes.
But it's not. Ashley was like, this is where I shop all the time. Y'all are not about to basically ruin my business with Alexander Wayne. This is a charity event. We're not having none of that shit here. Those were her exact words. And she was like, y'all, if you that part of, shut up. I don't want to hear about her anymore. That was the scene because she didn't want Jules to act a fool. And they cut out a lot of stuff. Jules was acting a fucking fool when we addressed the situation. When she started trying to blame everyone, she ran out, screamed out, cussing everybody out, called y'all hoes this, y'all hoes that. You can see her calling us hoes. And
she did say hoes. Yeah, she did say
hoes.
Yeah, yeah. She did call y'all hoes. I remember
y'all
that.
hoes this. Stormed out. I wish she broke the fourth wall. I wish they played when she came back in. Y'all hoes, y'all bitches, blah, 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 blah. The cameras, I'm recording, and then start talking to the cameras. So it's like, yeah, it was a whole, everywhere she go, you can't have a conversation with her because she acts like a barbarian. And that was Ashley's whole point of why she wasn't dealing with Jules, because Jules don't know how to have a civil conversation. She take it from 0 to 1,000 and then want to place the blame game.
Even with all that said, do you feel that there could have been a better way for you all to handle her? Because the way it looks like you all victimized this woman. So do you think that there was a better way to handle the back and forth with Jules?
So I think the part where everyone wanted to say something to her because she wasn't taking accountability, our table was shocked when she got up and she was like, that's why my hair is real. That's why my hair is real. So her standing, and then the even more trying to stand outside to still fight that girl, and all on her comments, and then calling me, why you liking that bitch page? You supposed to be this, that. I said, I don't owe no loyalty to either one of y'all because I'm not your close true friend. So it was more that wasn't shown on cameras of how she was acting. And it was, at the end of the day, that's our friend restaurant. So you acting a fool at our friend restaurant, that's an issue. So I think it was just more what she was saying and what was already in the back of our heads about Jules. A conversation needed to be had.
Yeah. Agreed. Do you see her returning? Should you all return?
I mean, she's a character, so she if she comes, she comes. She's a character.
I don't want her coming back. I'm sorry. Like, I think it really just added an aspect to the discussion that is surrounding this cast that honestly we do not need.
I wouldn't want Jules to come back.
Yeah. I think
what drew the line is when we had the family volleyball tournament. Instead of you bringing your daughter, you bring Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, who's known to taunt Black people with the N-word. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I didn't understand when the audience was saying all this. I'm like, are y'all finishing the show? Are y'all watching this?
Yeah.
Like, Jules secretly does things. She secretly, intentionally does things, and y'all can't see this?
No. Yeah.
And then after, literally a few days after he left that volleyball tournament, he was drunk as fuck, coming there smelling like straight alcohol. He goes viral on Twitter talking about black men and Black people.
Yeah. And so the narrative that she's saying everybody's spinning on her, no, it's not that. It is that Jules likes to embrace racism. She enacts it, she embraces it, and unfortunately, she keeps getting invited to Black spaces. I think just for us watching it, we're just like, okay, there has to be a time when Black spaces just have no tolerance for racism, even if it is for an ensemble show like this. Like, yeah, it's W.A.G.s, but folks have to take a stance, you know? And so I think that that's why this all rubbed all of us the wrong way. I was just like, yo, I will never forgive. That's one thing I will never forgive WAGs to riches for, is the victimization of a woman who is very well known to not only be a culture vulture, but to be racist.
Right.
Let's move on from No Jewels. Let's talk
Yeah, 'cause she
about
was
just
bringing.
how the show was wrapped up. Because I have an issue with that last scene. It's just, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, what was that last scene? I think just watching the show play out, Stoney obviously has been basically outcasted for things that we were not privy to as viewers of the show.
Right.
So, you know, you and her have your outs. Before that, I think the scene we saw you guys together was at the boutique. Side note, Fancy is so damn funny. Fancy?
I love Fancy.
I was
Fancy
like,
is the
why
man.
does Sherelle have this man on here? Fancy's Haitian. I feel like I met him years ago.
Fancy is that bitch. Fancy.
That bitch, but her fucking hilarious. The way he showed his ass at that damn rack scene, the boutique rack scene. I'm sorry. I was like,
Oh my
this man is
goodness.
a fucking key. How the fuck did you brought that man on to fucking?
No, honestly, I didn't, because I didn't expect that it was just gonna be one rack at this.
Yeah,
I thought it. I did not. I did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be well.
again, Stoney has been a boutique owner for a long time, so I didn't get that. I just didn't get that.
I didn't. I'm like, this was definitely thrown together. I honestly thought she was gonna have it together.
Yeah.
And when I walked in, I'm like, what is going on?
No.
But I told her, I said, he's gonna speak his mind, and he's not gonna sugarcoat anything. Are you able to take criticism? But when he was giving it to her raw, and it wasn't in front of anyone, we had that scene was
Y'all were
outside.
outside.
It was always something. You had a rebuttal against everything, and you took it to heart. And I kept telling her, don't take it to harsh. Like, I have criticism. Like, they give it to me raw, and it just made me a better person. But she took everything to heart of what he was saying to her to get to that next level. You complain about it, but when somebody tell you what to do or criticize you, it's a problem. And
Yeah,
that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, I think though, Sherelle, I think you just have such a more stronger personality. Which
Yeah.
is why I feel too that you're branded mean girlish, because you just have a stronger personality. Some people will take criticism and yeah, like it has to be delivered a certain way. I
Right.
think with you don't really give a fuck about the delivery because you have such a strong personality. And I think sometimes that can be, assessed as mean girlish. But
Mhm.
y'all had that scene. You guys give her the criticism about her boutique. It kind of seemed like y'all are getting into a better place. And then that last scene comes around and she talks about basically she has Ocho Cinco wanted me. She had an Ocho Cinco wanted me moment. And she lets us know that
Right.
Ocho
This
Cinco.
was not during my time, and to put it out there, he did say something, but this was not during that was nowhere close near my time.
Okay, so this was years ago.
Years ago, yes.
Okay,
We were
so
not together.
why was this brought up on the show?
I have no idea. She made it seem like, oh, he slid in my DMs like we were together. I seen the DM. It wasn't nothing big, and it was like 2017 or 18. I was nowhere
Oh,
to be in his life. I wasn't around.
okay. I mean, okay. So now y'all are talking about this, and then she accuses you guys of having a PR relationship. So going back to what you were saying at the top, when you were saying, this is truly why I didn't fuck with this girl.
Mhm.
I guess now we were seeing peaks of that.
Right.
Why did she feel the need to bring that up? Was there something happening that we weren't seeing? Was Stoney in a relationship and you were attacking that relationship? Why do you
No.
feel she felt the need to bring that up?
I don't know. I think Sony probably Honestly, I don't know because I thought, we squashed everything when that situation happened. I don't know why she kept coming, but it was like real life. Like she was really still going in the streets trying to get tea. Maybe, like I said before, she liked to secretly do things and play victim
Mhm.
and act like, oh, everyone is coming for me. I'm the outcast. I don't have it all, this, that, and the third. And that's not the case with Stoney.
Does she have is there some truth to what she said as far as like you all being in a PR relationship? Are you in a PR relationship with Chad? Is this a facade? Is this smoke and mirrors?
Right. No, like I
Okay.
told her, I said, I wouldn't if we were in a PR relationship, do you think I would have my beautiful daughter Serenity? Why would I bring on an extra bill if this is a PR relationship? You get what
Now,
I'm saying?
I believe that for you,
Right.
but there are some people who do this. I just want to put that
No.
out there. I believe that for y'all. I believe y'all are totally 100%. But
Right.
there have been people on other shows that have
Yeah, that have had, but you see, it's just they on for that show, but we actually have a family. Like we do things together. We are a family, no matter what. As far as the PR thing, I think people just say things and run with it because they feel like it sounds good.
yeah. 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 So ultimately, I mean, post the show, this is the first season. I'm gonna tell you where I stand with this show. I think that to me, the show is very entertaining. Yes, there are a lot of discussions being had, but I feel that the show is very entertaining. I feel that this is your first season with the show. There are
Mhm.
a lot of lessons to be learned. You're learning them on a Netflix platform, so it
Yes.
feels like you're getting hit with a ton of bricks. But now that you've seen the first season and you've seen the public reception of the show,
Mhm.
should you get a second season, what are some things that you would hope to do differently?
I think my main thing is stick beside my guts and not like the whole sex tape and addressing it. I understood from a producer point of view that's the only way, you know, we were gonna get to know who Stoney was, but I stick beside my belief in morals. And, that part exposed because I wasn't in agreement with it, even though it was
Mhm,
done at that time. Um, yeah, sticking beside what I stand on as a woman.
mhm. And what do you feel about just the portrayal of WAGs, period? Like the portrayal of the girls. What would you wish would be done differently should we get a season 2?
Uh, Involve more deeper into their lives. I feel like, it was a group was forced upon, and everything happened so quickly. Just really showing what we really have deep down inside instead of a whole bunch of the cattiness because a
Yeah.
lot of it wasn't cause for.
Yeah. But I honestly feel that when I watch reality television, right, there is
Mhm.
always cattiness.
Yes,
I just feel that when it's us, it gets criticized way more. When you watch
deeper.
Dubai Bling, when you watch Young, Rich, and African, like when you watch The Real Housewives of Beverly
But
Hills, like,
but when you look at those women, they're all the same color. Black
mm,
come in different colors. Black is beautiful. We have different shades. So it's our own people separating us and creating these narratives when sometimes they don't need to be created. Like,
mhm,
can someone just have an opinion and look deeper into it than throwing shades out there? And I think that was the issue. That's the issue that we have. When we go against someone and it's a skin complexion,
mhm.
dark brown against light skin, oh, this person hate this person because of their skin color, and that's not the case.
That's not always the case.
That's not always the case,
Yeah,
correct.
that's
Now,
not always the
if
case.
you blatantly say, "I can't stand your dark skin ass," or "I
Mhm,
can't stand your yellow ass," then that's when you come at their heads. But
mhm.
I feel like because we have had some bad reputations of people using color and animals to describe another black
Yeah.
woman,
Mhm.
we're all taking the heat for it, and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy that we were able to discuss, especially like the colorism and and expound more on like just your relations with the cast.
Right.
But to me, where I sit, I would love to see a season 2. I think
Oh.
that y'all got season 1. There are a lot of lessons that you guys are learning in real time, and I look forward to y'all taking the lessons, seeing them as constructive and pushing forward and saying, okay, like, we heard
Right.
y'all. We're gonna do better. We're
Right.
gonna do better. We're gonna be more mindful of colorism. We're gonna be more mindful of
Exactly.
elitism. We're gonna be more mindful of ableism. Like, we're gonna be more mindful of all those
Right.
things. But also, I just feel that, again, when we're watching reality television, it is reality. And sometimes when you're in the moment, folks make bad decisions.
Right.
And let them learn. Let's move forward. Let's give them another shot. I look at other reality television. I'm like, listen, like, these non-Black folks, they get like so many chances. Let's give this group of girls another chance. It's entertaining. We're all talking about it.
Exactly. It's
We're
the
all
talk of
talking about
it's
it.
the talk
So
of the town right now.
yeah, and so let's just give them a chance. I'm rooting for you, Sherelle. I'm
Thank
very,
you.
very proud of you. I'm excited for you because I know, like, one thing about you, you're going to get in the mud or you're going to get it. And like I said from the top of this interview, the fact that you were able to get two shows, I want people to understand, like, just the power that has, the favor that has. And now that you know that you have that, now let's move forward and let's just make better decisions. Let's learn what we need to learn and let's move forward, because I want to continue to see Black luxury. I want to continue to see Black women in luxury. The show, something that we didn't even talk about, the show was well lit. The show was beautifully shot. The cinematography, is that the word, cinematography? Like the positioning of the camera angles. I'm like, okay, these motherfuckers came to shoot.
Right.
They came
And
to shoot.
I want everyone to see their stories. I don't want people to know me as a mean girl. I want them to show what I'm doing for the community, what I'm doing out there other than real estate. Like, I'm a developer now.
Sherelle, what are you doing for your culture?
Well, baby, listen, there's a gap in, us purchasing homes. I'm closing that gap by building affordable homes. And that's
Period.
real life, nothing
Period.
made up over there. So I'm in the process. We just did the groundbreaking of building 8 townhomes in Tampa, and they're going to be sold to their affordable homes. So it's helping.
And period. Especially on the heels of, we just had the orange dude in the White House shut off all loans and
Put it a pause. Yeah. And it can affect everything, Section 8 and everything. And what we want to do is create more homeowners for minorities. So that's what we're doing. And I'm also I have 3 opportunities to build 3 VA clinics in Florida. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot. I'm doing a lot. And I want to broadcast that. I want Stoney to be able to broadcast, her taking it to another level, because I see that she has that drive.
She does. She does. I'm telling you, I didn't know her personally, but I've always known Stoney to have a boutique. She's had it for a long time.
And she knows how to dress. Stoney is a beautiful Black woman. She knows how to dress. She has it. I just hate how it came off with us. And like I said, like, my apology to her was sincere. Now, she's still throwing shade. It's
I've
only
seen
so
it.
much shade I can take before that ass, before hair and real come out. But you know what? I'm giving her grace. I'm trying to give her grace. But
I've seen it. I've seen the shade.
I'm like, Stoney, all right now. It's only so much. It's only so much I can take now.
No, I've seen the shade. And listen, I think right now it's supposed to show everybody's just like, everybody's enthralled in the commentary. But once it dust settles, I really, really am rooting for you all to come back on our screens and to show us, like, listen, we learned and we're going to move forward.
We hear you guys.
We're still going to be human beings, but we're learning and we're growing, and I want to see that for y'all. Before I let you go, Sherelle, please let everybody know, like, where to follow you, If you have anything exciting coming, I mean, you always got something exciting coming up.
Yes.
Let the people know what you're doing for your culture.
Right.
Sorry.
Listen, I love you, Jess.
That lady is... Let the people know what you're doing for your culture, Sherelle.
Right, baby. You can listen. Y'all can follow me at Sherelle Rosado _ on Instagram, Humble Baddies Podcast, and also Sherelle Rosado on Twitter. I do have some projects that are coming out. If you're looking to purchase at an affordable amount in the city of Tampa, we do have some townhomes that'll be coming up. They should be up by the spring of next year. So.
Perfect. Also, too, Humble Baddies got signed to
Shay Media. Yes.
Shay Media. Can you let us know like what that's like? I think you guys are the first female podcast.
We are the first female podcast signed to it, which is amazing. You know, I seen a vision and I'm like, you know, we need more of these female topics, these female conversations, where it's just raw and real. And you know, I reached out to Chad and Shannon. I was like, how do y'all feel about having something like this up under y'all umbrella? They loved it. And we wanted to show them what we could do. So we put out a few shows and it just been up from here. And they saw it in us and signed us, and it's only more to come.
Period. I'm going to let you know what Sherelle and the Humble Baddies are doing for their culture. They Black.
That's right.
They're Black women. That's what they're doing for their culture.
Right.
They're existing, okay?
Exactly.
They're existing and they're thriving. Sherelle, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I look forward to seeing everything that God blesses you with and all of your endeavors. I'm always rooting for you. Always rooting for you.
Jess. I love you.
Love you too. Love you too. Y'all give it up for Sherelle Rosado. All right, guys. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much to Sherelle Rosado for joining us. What did y'all think about all the things we discussed? I mean, wax to riches. It was so much to discuss there. Drop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And when you're reviewing me on the platform that you're listening to me to, make sure that you give me 5 stars, okay? Because I'm a 5 stars bitch, okay? Give me 5 stars. Leave any comments that you have about this week's episode. And I will see you guys next time, same place. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.
Pioneer.